is working on a deal. He's on the floor that he's fully supportive of Speaker Boehner. He has said what needed to be said, throwing his support there. But privately, many other senators are telling us McConnell is working on a deal. He's talking to people. McConnell's aides say, no, that's not going on. So if you piece these things together, you get the sense that here's someone who can see an end game, thought he had it a while back, and the opportunity for members of Congress to disapprove a debt ceiling vote, which is part of the mechanics of hoop jumping legislatively, is actually a plus for some of these Tea Party members who don't want to be on board right now. Seconds ago, Rand Paul dipped under the camera here to get to another location, and he was one of the people I was thinking of. When you can vote against raising the debt ceiling but still give the president that authority, that might be a way for everybody to get what they want. And it's, of course, too soon to say how it will all factor out, but just watching Mitch McConnell, you get a sense of someone who knows how this place works and is quietly waiting to use the power he has earned over time.
Well, deep down in the hole of the brain of all these people in their gut, Chuck, you first, who gets blamed if they can't get this done by Tuesday?
Who gets, look, I think the Republicans they have more to lose here than anybody else. They've been driving this train. They've been driving this debt limit thing. So if their version of what they're trying to sell is compromise, if they can't get it through in some sort of legislative action, they're in serious trouble of taking the heat here. And I tell you this, and this was something our colleague Mike Vergara put it, he said, oddly enough, the irony could be that if this falls apart tonight in the House, the deal to make this happen actually gets put together faster. McConnell's the type of guy, he's such an operator, he'll move so quickly to try to get it done, cut the deal with Reid and get it over with, because he won't want to see 48 hours of hand-wringing, of having the party get laughed at, get made fun of, all of those things, that you can actually see this thing end in 48 hours, and suddenly the president signs something.
By the way, Kelly, just a question, a query. If Boehner can't get through what he sees a right but not quite all the way right plan, then there's no way to get something further left of him through the House, right, with any sizable Republican support. So the only alternative then is not a different kind of Boehner, but a totally different plan, which is this thing of throwing the president's lap.
It sure seems that would be a workable way to go. Really, you have two alternatives. Give those resistant Tea Party and conservative folks a way to come on board without compromising their bottom line, or you attract more Democrats. But if you look at what Mitch McConnell has been saying, he was so clear here the other day, pretty flat out, I am ready to do what is less than perfect because there is no other way. Those weren't his exact words, but that was the sentiment. And it was stark at the time that I heard it, and it may be the thing that echoes through these cavernous halls tonight, that he's ready to do a deal, and he just needs the time to run out on John Boehner and what he's trying to do.
Richard, last thought here. How's this shake out?
Look, the pressure just gets worse for Republicans. If they cannot get the likely Senate compromise through the House on the second round, because all of this is the sideshow, then what happens? The president says, I'm not going to default on our debts. We're going to start closing down pieces of government. We'll stop the social security checks. And they lose either way. They lose now, they lose in a week's time. The pressure gets worse and worse for Republicans. That's why they need it off the table right now.
Does he have a plan to stick it to the Republicans?
Oh, you know, people in the White House I've talked to say they do not know. They really do not know which way the president's going to come out on this, what the range of tactics are.
Got to go. What a night. Anyway, thank you, Richard Wolff. Thanks for sticking around. Thank you, Chuck, as always. Thank you, Kelly, for that great insight up there. We're going to take a break right now. We're going to come back right in a moment to talk about this vote. It could come at any moment tonight, and we'll break in for it when it happens. You're watching Hardball on MSNBC.